Hi guys, this is part 2 of the series. Last week I was explaining to you how I'm going to do a king size quilt, making it out of bedding sheets that you purchase from the store. This is a king size set which has a fitted sheet, a flat sheet and 2 pillows just for a king size bed. I would highly recommend that you hit that subscribe button on my channel so you don't miss my next video. So going forward, I always have a question for every single video, and the question for today is, have you ever tried foundation paper piecing? Let me know in the comments down below. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Or have you never even tried it? Let me know. So this week is going to be all about the planning process of what pattern I am going to use in order to do my king size quilt. And I already decided that I am not going to do small blocks this time. I always do small blocks and it takes me forever to get a quilt done. I would generally do like a 2.5 inch square and it would just I'd just be doing it for weeks and weeks and weeks. This time I'm not doing that. I am going to do it all on a 10-inch quilt block. And when I was filming my previous video, which I will link above, I noticed that when I was filming the pictures behind me that there was a design that was sticking out all this time. If you look at that picture right in the middle, I liked the lines that came down from where that flower is. It's the middle picture that we're referring to. I don't want to do it like that, the two at the side, because it's too traditional looking and I want to make it look as modern as possible. So we already know the quilt colours from my previous video, so don't forget to watch that so you know where we're up to right now. So let's talk about how I created the pattern. So we got one of them great big massive sheets, the 11 by 17 inches, I think it is, it's ledger paper, and we copied a design onto it. So I drew a 10-inch block and then we drew some lines on it representing the lines that I discussed or talked about on that middle picture over there. So I kind of wanted to make it a little bit like that particular picture. We'll have to see how it's going to look. I know what it looks like when I put 4 5-inch blocks together, and now I'm going to have to see what it looks like on 10 inches and the overall king size quilt. Once I got my first design sorted, I knew that I would have to go and have them photocopied. So what I was going to do was I was going to go to the library and have it done, because I know that my local library, I'm able to print photocopies for free, which is absolutely amazing. But because of this virus, I can't do that. So I had to go to one of the big box stores in order to have that big sheet printed. So I went there, I think it costed about 18 cents for one of them sheets of paper. So this is how they look. So here you go, here is my pattern all blown up onto that larger sheet of paper. And then what I'm going to have to do is, because this doesn't have a seam allowance, so you see how just off the edge this is like a perfect 1/4 inch seam allowance, and what I'm going to have to do is add a seam allowance onto this other side here. So you always want to have a little bit of a seam allowance that doesn't go into your actual design. This is all going to be foundation paper pieced. So I have all of my pieces printed out and I have 50 copies of this. I think I only need, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's about 43, 10 by 10 to make a king size quilt. So there's room for some errors here. So I might have to keep one as a master copy, so if I do need any other copies, then I have them. So now my next conundrum, I can't even say that word, my next conundrum is, what colours am I going to put inside of these blocks? Now I keep harping on that I do not want this quilt to look like a traditional quilt. I want it to look modern, and I think by making it different colours on different blocks, it's going to make it look a lot more modern, rather than having the same colour all as in one, 4 of the same colour and 4 of the same other colour. It's going to make it look traditional again. I don't know, I'm just going to have to see how it looks as I'm building on it. I literally have no plan. I'm going to just go all in and just see what it ends up looking like. All I know is that this guy here, I've got a fitted sheet and I was going to use this as pretty much most of the background of this quilt. So I do want to use predominantly quite a lot of this teal here. So let's see how it goes when I start making the blocks. The fitted sheet over to the right hand side here, and of course we had this one here which is kind of like a grey taupey colour, and we also have this blue colour. It's funny because I used to actually have a school uniform the same colour as this. It's kind of like a bluey kind of tealy. It's not quite showing up so well here. And also we also have this pink. So I noticed in the last video that I didn't really show up that well on the colour here. Let's see if I can pick this colour up a bit better now. Because the fab thing about this is that it's got different colours that shows through it, and it's not really picking it up. But you can see here how there's like splashes just of like a pale blue here. So this is the pink colour that I'll be using, because the colours that I want to blend in are the colours of my pillows, which are... So there's this dusky pink here to the left hand side that I wanted to work, because this is all of my bedding sheets. This is the pillow, the fitted sheet and the flat sheet I currently have on my bed. And also this is a pink fluffy pillow that I have on my bed, because this whole king size quilt I want to do to match my actual room, because I do have this one that's on, but this quilt is basically generally for my living room. These are my living room colours, this brown and teal colour. So I want a more romantic vibe going on in my bedroom. So I want these kind of pinks and these like dusky pinks and these kind of like dusky like blue colours in order to match all of my bedroom. So my next video is obviously going to be me foundation paper piecing on this pattern. So guys, you can really have fun with this. You can create your own foundation paper piece patterns. Have you ever done that? Like, this is the first time for me for doing this. I've never made a paper piece pattern before. I've always only ever done paper piecing on other people's designs. So this is a first for me. Let me know if you've tried this yourself. This is currently the biggest quilt that I have made so far. This is a king size quilt, and I made it all out of 2.5 inch squares. So the purpose for making this quilt was to use up all of my bits of fabric scraps that I had in all of my different fabric baskets. And I didn't even make a dent in my fabric scraps. I'll be absolutely honest. This quilt does look amazing, don't get me wrong, but it's kind of not what I'm wanting. It's not the vibe for the actual room that I'm wanting. I don't want all of this mishmash of colours. So as you can see, it starts off white, goes beige, goes grey, then it goes into yellows, pinks, reds, greens, blues, dark blues, purples, and right at the other very corner it goes to black. So like I said, I love doing this quilt. I think it's absolutely awesome, but it's time for a new quilt for this particular room. I did something a little bit different on the reverse of this quilt too. So basically I just used a full width of fabric at either side of this. So this is also a Moda Grunge fabric, and it's in like a green, like a dark green. And also I did this like heart-shaped block right in the center of this backing of this quilt, which I thought was kind of like a little bit of unusual. I wanted to do something a little bit different on the reverse, rather than doing like obviously two front sides on, so it's different on either side. That would have taken quite a long time as well. So I just thought by putting this border strip right down the center of this quilt made it a little bit different, and also by putting this heart motif right in the center, I just thought it was a right cool backing. So that's another thing that I like about this king size quilt. One very disheartening thing about this particular quilt is, I'm sure you can pick it out, I'm showing it you, a lot of the threads I've unpicked and unpulled, and it was literally, all I did was a straight stitch across. I put my walking foot on and I did a straight stitch across, and I did it all on my Baby Lock Soprano. Like, I got all of this quilt all through the Baby Lock Soprano. It's not the machine that did it. I am absolutely adamant it was the thread. And I'm not going to name the brand, but I'm not going to use that brand again. I did not like the fact that this did this to me. And like I said at the beginning of this video, you're going to want to subscribe to this channel in order to follow through these video series, because you don't want to miss seeing my next video. Like always, thank you so much for watching. Bye guys! And Gatsby wants to be in this video, don't you, Gatsby? Or is it really because you want to be fed? Hey baby? You're like, Mummy, stop filming, I want to be fed.